introducing my fellow panelists, I would like to begin with a small presentation. Can you please do that? 62 million tons of municipal plastic waste, and less than 1/3 of it is today digitized. How much of it has been lost? Small packaging formats make 75 to 80% of India's packaging, and the vast majority is still not picked up. To pick up 1 kg of plastic bags, that waste warrior, whom we call as the Kacharawali, she has to be in 400 times. The key is not the material. The key is what we do with that material. The most sustainable packaging is the one which we will reuse. And today we are going to talk about packaging and its recycling. A little more action, and with CII we will walk the talk. Is my presentation there? How green is my packaging? Let's start with new mantras. Not to ban, but to plan is one such simple step. If one technology creates societal problems due to irresponsible use, another technology could solve it. That would leave legislation secondary. The closed loop upcycling, lot of recycling. My friend Bharat Bhai will talk technical, but mechanical recycling and now chemical recycling, and both combined. That's the new way. The story we see in all Indian towns and cities and villages. Free means waste. But this waste has today found its value and it is no longer free. Zero waste bolte hain, but that waste is today recycled and got in the system. The R's and circular economy, there are many R's, but one more R which I've learned is respecting the waste. Let's give the waste its respect. And the last R, recycle engineering. Recycling the waste using engineering. Policies, and that converted into actions of circular economy. Incentivize. Two tools for waste management: fine or incentivize. How much fines can work? When we talk of recycling, it is not simple. The additives, the plastics, the impact, that is more important. The leaching out of the products, if used again and again, all has to be talked, all has to be taken care of. Regulations are there, but they are beyond certain level when actions have to be taken. Again, the various waste recycling. Recently, I have come across an enzyme, meaning a worm, not eating plastics, but recycling plastics. That's the new development. Plastic recycling and circular economy. Going back to the monomer and the feedstock recycling. That is the new future. This slide borrowed from Promotional Dr. G.D. Yadav. We are talking of the circular economy. The world is moving to a bioeconomy, where biology and food and natural resources are used for the circular economy. The most important point, where are we on the sustainability curve? We are at the down part at the moment. Through regulations, everything is there, but everyone has to first remember that sustainability will come at a cost. And what is that cost? Balancing people, planet, profit. That is where it is. The global plastic treaty to eliminate plastic pollution is being discussed even as we talk since the last 3 years. And this will be a legally binding instrument when the world will have to keep its promise for a better planet where plastics also live in harmony with nature, but the pollution is decreased. And talking of money, it's here, my friends. This is the recycling opportunity and growing. AI, use of AI in packaging is going to disrupt the things as never before. The right to repair is a concept by itself and has picked up in Europe. You know, you can, people have been forced with the consumerism to just throw away what you use, but this is a right. And the same right is there in packaging also. Design for recycling, the guidelines that are going to be an important part when we look at the systems and manage our recycling. In our rapidly growing world, the management of waste is titled Plastic Waste Revolution. This is a dynamic sector with growing opportunity where sustainability is a part. My favorite slide. We have all heard of Make in India. Ye thi Indian. Let us see this. 3 young kids, 10 years. They have started a startup at a 10 monthly subscription rupees to provide paper bags in Bangalore. So that is not Make in India, that is born in India. एंड तारक मेहता का जो उल्टा चश्मा सबने देखा है, ये नजरिया बदलना चाहिए रिसाइकलिंग का चश्मा. That is my humble request. Thank you. I would now go over to my fellow panelist, Garima ji.
So I have a small presentation which tells about the organization, but first of all, thank you very much AVPS Garu, CII Telangana team for inviting me. Every time I'm here, city amazes me. The vibrancy and of course coming from Delhi with such high AQI, this city was much of a breather. So it's absolute honor to be here. Can you please play my presentation? It's just about 4 slides, and of course, I look forward to the discussion. I keep meeting Dr. Joshi and rest of the panelists. I have Reliance, Mr. Mehta with us. Reliance has been a very active supporter, guiding much of our work in India. So I think I need to go to the podium, and then, of course, I look forward to the discussion ahead. Yeah, solutions to scale. So many speakers have since spoken about, I know we are much from the packaging segment, and much of the valuable material that is used in packaging, of course, plastic is one of them. So plastic as a material is not a problem, definitely, but then the pollution that emerges out of it is a crisis. And of course, we need to manage this crisis. Indian government is very active. There is an international treaty negotiations that are ongoing. So overall, nationally, internationally, there is a very vibrant ecosystem that is emerging. And the base is the circular economy all of us want to create. So if I talk a little bit about Alliance to End Plastic Waste, I'm a senior advisor with them. I look after growth and engagement. First slide, please. Yeah. So towards 2016, when much of this anti-plastics voice was increasing, the industry came together and we decided that, solutions need to be in place. So about 27 companies globally, which included many of the big petrochemical companies, they came together, they pooled in resources. Today, as I stand in front of you, we have about 60 member companies. There are 3 Indian member companies, Reliance, as I said, Uflex, HMEL. Our work in the region is about to really grow a lot. We have Strategy 2030 in place, which I will shortly talk about. Our purpose, our reason for existence is that we want to end the plastic pollution and we want to build a plastic circular economy. There are many players in the ecosystem. We take pride of the fact that we are a do tank. With all due respect to the wonderful think tanks, they are doing their own job. We are a do tank, and till date, we have mobilized about $570 million of capital globally, which is roughly spread over 30 geographies, 30 countries to be precise. We are using this capital to build projects on ground, And these projects can demonstrate new technologies, business models, and solutions. See, anything which can find value will find its own ways. Like we have seen in case of PET. We can proudly say that about more than 90% of PET in India today is recycled. So PET is hardly a challenge now. But then we still see a lot of visible litter plastic around us, which is giving the plastics a bad name. This category is flexibles, MLPs, which is very, very tough to collect. Dr. Joshi just mentioned that 1 kg, to collect 1 kg, that waste warrior has to bend 400 times. It is not only bending. Imagine the condition and where that waste is lying, in heaps of garbage. So it's a very, very, very tough job to do. So Alliance takes pride in the fact that our solutions are focused more on these tough to handle categories, which is the flexibles, which is the MLPs. And since 2019, we have funded about 70 projects in the world, as I said, spread over 30 countries. We are a not-for-profit, registered in the US, but headquartered in Singapore. Also primarily because of the fact that 60% of our project portfolio is spread over Asian region. Next, please. When we talk about circular economy, there are two aspects to it. One is the recycling and more complex advanced circularity solutions. But before that, a step before that is the collection and segregation, which is like the backbone. So in less mature countries or developing countries like India, our solutions are more on collection and building a sorting infrastructure, whereas in developed countries like EU and the US, our solutions are more on unlocking the circular solutions, which is like developing the digital watermark. So we, as I said, we support project partners who can demonstrate and work on the ground. Now our work has also led to a very, very significant impact. Next slide, please. So overall, we address all the circularity gaps, ranging from design to collection, sorting, recycling, quality gap, you're working and everything. Next, please. Now, this is our journey of impact. This will be of interest to you. On one side, you can see the graph, which is about the increasing impact our projects are achieving. But what I would like to highlight in front of this audience is that in 2024, a strategic rethinking happened in Alliance. From 30 countries, our board decided to focus on 12 countries. Now, globally, when 12 countries were, I won't say fighting, but they were competing with each other, Alliance focus on India was very clear. It was largely from the fact that we had very good support from local partners like Reliance, who have also guided our work. Overall, even the projects that we were doing, they were also emerging. So from earlier, small ticket size projects, we wanted to build country programs, which are at much larger scale, bringing systemic change, to thematic programs, like, focus on flexible plastics. So we wanted to, we fine-tuned our strategy, and we decided that even out of these 12 countries, we can't work in 12 countries all at once. In the first phase itself, India country program got approved. So that is definitely which will strike the right chord with this audience. With the approval of the India country program now, what does country program mean for India? Next slide, please. So till date, we have worked on ground and supported about 15 project partners. The picture that you see is from our project Parikram, where we have set up a mixed waste MRF in city of Mathura. Mathura, many of you would be aware, is in vicinity where Vrindavan. It's a religious city. A lot of people go very, very close to Agra. So a lot of multiple reasons people go there, high footfalls. So we have set up a mixed waste MRF because, as I said, since source segregation is missing, much of the waste gets mixed. So how do you actually extract the flexible or other categories of waste out of the waste you are looking for? So this MRF is going to demonstrate. It will be one of the pioneering solutions in India. It is already active on the ground. Our work is on to stabilize it, to make it economically viable, and we will continue to support the partner. Next, please. Now, when I talk about what does in-country program approval mean for India? It means that by 2030, we are looking forward to scale our work. We will be working in multi-city. We will be working with government, with local municipalities to bring systemic level change. And in fact, working in area which is very, very tough to handle. Second important component is the funding part, that because of the credibility of Alliance, We are now looking forward to blended financing route through which we are able to raise money from DFIs. And once we raise money from DFIs or different sources, that's how, we can give more money to project partners. So any entity like Banyan Nation was here in the morning. There are a lot of other companies, a lot of Recircle, Recity. There are a lot of, emerging young companies who have taken this challenge and who are working day and night to actually prove that solutions do exist. So now coming back to the topic of circularity. Now this is all broadly what Alliance has done. Alliance comprises people who come from different plastic value chain. A lot of these companies have even seconded their employees who bring a lot of wealth of knowledge with us. So within Alliance lies a great knowledge on circularity. When we connect with members, we impart that knowledge. We even publish the solution playbooks, which can definitely, lead to scalability and replicability anywhere. So we are really looking forward to strongly work in the region. And packaging companies, yes, that's one segment we are looking for some support. So on one hand, I would love to connect with companies who can demonstrate and who can perhaps benefit from Alliance funding. Second is, I'm also looking forward to connect with more companies who can come on board and be a part of this success story. So thank you so much. Now I'm going back to my position and we'll look forward to the questions. Thank you again.
He is a rock star, Bharat Bhai Mehta.
My presentation is not there? Oh, it's there. I think AVPS Garu is not seen. All of you must have heard of the word postprandial somnolence. Postprandial somnolence. Khana khane ke baad neend aana. When we came into the room, we had this postprandial somnolence, but Janvi shook us up, and then the other lady, Garima ji, also took us around how she's fighting and finding solutions for plastic waste. So, a very good afternoon. Namaskar. Jai Shri Krishna. When we are in the mountains, when we shout, there is an echo. But I find very feeble echo. I think there should be loud. Good afternoon. Namaskar. Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you. So, taking you to the topic of my presentation. On your left, you see the world's largest T-shirt. It was right here in Mumbai in 2018, weighing 4 tons. It was as big as a 10-floor building with 3 flats on each floor. That was the size of this. And this has an entry in the Guinness Book of World Records. It is made in India. So made from post-consumer recycled PET bottles. So this is the traditional way how recycling has been happening. You pick up the waste, convert into fiber, and convert into clothing. So that is what people call it as a linear economy, but that's big. It never needed any government intervention. It was economical and that was the incentive for the waste pickers to pick up the waste, and that is mechanical recycling to fiber, bottle to fiber, B2F business. And I think Dr. Samir Joshi was part of this. Then he got it converted to 10,000, 15,000 T-shirts. And Afroz Shah beach cleanup, I think they were used. I think nowadays the businesses were focusing on profit. Now, planet, people, profit, I think we have been hearing since morning. Someone is talking about planet, someone is talking about people. All these are important. And when we talk of planet, the product has to be eco-friendly. When we talk of people, there has to be safety. When we talk of profit, availability and affordability. So I'll take you through the presentation. So coming to the planet, how it is inhabited over the last 225 years. In the year 1800, the world population was less than the population of India or population of China, you can say, because India is more populous now. So it was just 100 crores. In 1900, it became 160 crores, just beyond the population of India today. And by the time it is 2000, 600 crore. Today, we know in 2025 it has already crossed 8 billion, 800 crores. So the population on this planet has gone up by 8 times, 800% increase. The diameter of the earth is same, the resources are the same. So do you all think that if the traditional materials like glass, metal, wood would have been there, and if everything was to be packaged, I think my feel is earth would have got vanished. So we needed a material which was at least 8 times lighter than what was being used. And I think plastics came to the rescue. And today I'll say it's not only 8, 10 to 15 times lighter than traditional materials. A glass bottle weighs, I think, 150 grams. That is 12 grams PET. So that is the difference. I hope you are this is I wanted to put things in the right perspective, that plastic has been a blessing. Of course, littering is bad. I'm not supporting littering, but plastics has been a blessing. The story of India is not much different. I'll not dwell on this because I've already spoken on this. It's similar to the world. Now, in terms of plastic, I'll talk of one type of plastic, PET. And if you look at the consumption of PET in India, it has been growing at a 10-year CAGR of 12%. Indian GDP growth has never touched 10% since last, whenever the memory goes, 12%. And the previous 3 years, it has been at 18%. So it suits this theme. Summit of economic growth, innovate, accelerate, elevate. So this is how PET has been growing. And why it has been growing? Because, like I told, planet, people, profit. How it has been helping around this, I'll touch upon this. The first thing is the product, the packaging has to be safe. There were talk of leaching and harm to the environment. So there are a lot of international studies. Previous decade had been a decade of cases against PET by some NGO, Him Jagrati, you would have all heard of. And the government wanted there should be an Indian study on the effect of PET. So we engaged with CFTRI, Central Food Technology Research Institute, the most premier research institute of Government of India. And PACE is a PET Packaging Association for Clean Environment, like you have IPMA, you would have heard of IPMA, IPMA is very popular. In same way you have PACE also. And the PACE engaged with CFTRI and they gave samples for 3 tests and they were collected by the scientists themselves. First is the PET resin. First accusation, PET has BPA, it has phthalate, it has heavy metals. So it was tested in the lab with NABL standards. There was no such thing found. PET, these things are not part of PET chemistry. Then the thing is, okay, the resin does not have. When you got converted it to a bottle, it will generate it. So the bottles were given. There was no detection in that. Then another accusation was, okay, PET gives endocrine disruption. Endocrine disruption, for those who don't understand, because Hyderabad is a pharma city, everyone knows this, but they change the hormonal secretion, which may adversely affect your body. Yoga also changes, but it positively affects your body, but EDC can adversely affect your body. So this was a real experiment. Permissions have to be taken because white mice were used. Female mice, male mice. Over a period of 60 days, they were served water at different temperatures for 60 days. And their hormonal level checked. There was same results, whether it is glass or PET. So these were the different studies which are there to dispel myths. And I think these studies have been shared with the Government of India. During the RPET launch, we shared it with FSSAI. So they were very happy to see that such studies, a joint effort along with government and private institutions are happening. So another, one more daily or second day you will find in the news that you should not have water from PET. but it is up to one's own perception whether they want to have it or not. But you must know that the water that you have on your tables, it goes as per the BI standards. Now FSSAI is also running those same standards, at least 84 parameters. So before you drink, 84 parameters are checked. Microbiological, organoleptic, chemical, I have mentioned it here. And so that is the ring of safety around this packaged drinking water. And if you look at the Ministry of Health data, every minute 30 people fall ill. Every day 5 people die due to waterborne disease today also in India. So a safe packaged drinking water is very, very essential. And people are talking of water ATMs. What are the standards for that? Who is managing that? Is there a cockroach behind that? Who will know? So it's up to the people to decide what to drink, from what to drink. So that is the safety of PET ecosystem. US FDA, FSSAI, EFSA, WHO, everyone has said PET is safe. And since the first PET bottle was introduced in 1980, till today, 500 million ton of PET resin is already consumed globally. And estimated more than 25 trillion bottles to pack different products, pharma, edible oil, soft drink, juice, water, they have been put. And kisi ko kuch nahi hua. Everyone is safe. This is a great epidemiological evidence. This was about safety. Now, if we talk of environment, during the last decade, even today we see only 9% of plastic globally recycled. Only 9%, and PET bottle ka photo hoga. And today, AVP sir said that 95% is getting recycled. So we said, instead of we saying let a leading NCL Innovation Center, a project was given to them. They visited 44 recyclers in India, and they concluded that was nearly 8 to 9 years back, that 70% gets recycled by organized recyclers, another 20% to 25% by unorganized. So 85-90% recycling existed even 8 to 9 years back. And then if you talk which is better, there has to be life cycle assessment. At Institute of Chemical Technology, Mumbai, a project was given to ICT. And they found that global warming potential of glass is 300 times of PET. Global warming potential of glass here, global warming potential of PET there. And a similar study was done by Alplaf, comparing it to beverage carton. There also PET scored better on many of the parameters. Safety, eco-friendly, planet, people. Now, rPET is known to everyone. The food contact material rPET. The first picture I showed, that was traditional recycling, which does not need any government incentive. It is happening on its own. Bottle to fiber, this is bottle to bottle. So, North America Plastic Container Resources engaged Franklin Associates, the number one LCA company in the world. And they say that if one has to convert this bottle into 100% rPET, your carbon footprint goes down by 60%. In India, almost 500,000 tons of rPET capacity is coming up, so that can end up saving 660 KT equivalent of carbon. Even in Rajya Sabha, there was a question on collection of PET bottles. At that time, Babul Supriyoji, who was the Minister of State, stated, industry was telling 90%, he went up to 95%, that even up to 95% estimated PET bottles are getting collected. Only thing is, it is an informal way. Only the formal channel has to be triggered off. And she was also mentioning that littering is an issue. PET recycling is already happening. But how to reach this message to the consumers? So PACE engaged in 1 week blitzkrieg, media blitzkrieg, first page. Every day there was an advertisement in the year, I think this was 2019, September. And Times of India, Navbharat Times, Gujarat Samachar, Telegraph, 90% PET bottles recycled in India, and about the safety aspect. There was a case in Advertising Standards Council of India, Plastic Association talking nonsense, and what is the proof? We could give proof. That case was dismissed. that there is backup. So what is talked about, there is a backup. Coming to RPET, how it is shaping up. First, let us see how PET is getting consumed across India, how recycling is happening across India. You will be amazed, we all know India, but we will be amazed to see top 13 PET packaging consuming states represent 81% population. 81% population lives in 13 states in India. States are more than 30, but only in 13, 81% population lives here. And in this 81% population, 13 states, 73% of PET is getting consumed. I'm not talking about processing, actual consumption. And recycling capacity is also 73% as a total of these 13 states. But if you go dive deeper, 4 states recycle 2.5 to 3 times of PET they consume. That is Gujarat, Telangana, where we are sitting here also. You can see here 110,000 ton is the recycling, 50,000 ton is the consumption. And the largest state PET is Maharashtra. There it is balanced, recycling and 3 states like Karnataka, Kerala, they don't have recycling, but they bail the bottle and send it to other states. In terms of rPET, 45% rPET capacity is coming up in Western India, and 25% in North, and 15% in South and East. So these are the pictures of some of the brands which have launched. They have not converted 100%. They continue to do it in certain pockets. Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Boomer Jar. And this is the logo given by FSSAI, food contact material. Number is 1 is for PET, rPET, X. X is the percentage of PET, rPET, which is there in the bottle. So how to improve PET recycling? So a lot of, if someone has visited K, you would have, and Drink Tech, you would have seen experiment, a show where lightweight PET bottle, it is possible to produce PET caps, but lightweight PET caps, which can be replaced, which can replace these current caps, so that when PET bottles comes for recycling, your yield improves. When the yield improves, your rPET pricing improves. Because today, around 20-25% of weight of the bottle is non-PET, cap, label, there will be some mud and all also. So that goes down. That goes down, then the rPET pricing also becomes better. In India, it's not there, but in Europe, desert closures are important. The other experiment that is happening to improve yield, and which is in Japan, if you have several bottles, you don't put label on the bottle. You just, on the wrap, it will be mentioned. And so this also makes it label-free. And in some countries, they have launched a label-free bottle also. Evian, I have seen some test markets, it's there. In India also, 80% of our smartphones, they can read QR codes. If you just put a QR code on the cap, it will give you much more information than the label. It's possible in India also. So PET is supporting SDG 2030 goals. How? No poverty, zero hunger. So a lot of rag pickers, waste pickers who pick up the PET bottles. There are stories, people coming from UP with 5,000 rupees in the pocket, and today they are a businessman in Mumbai collecting PET bottles. So it's a story of fighting poverty, zero hunger. Good health, well-being, I need not say, because water, beverages, soft drinks, nourishment, clean water, sanitation, how that I showed that water slide, a decent work, economic growth, growing faster than GDP, responsible production consumption, we are able to convert this PET into food contact rPET. That is a responsible production and consumption, supporting circular economy, supporting carbon reduction. Climate action, of course, these are also slides shared. And this is the greatest acknowledgement, I think, for PET. I'm also wearing a jacket made from recycled PET bottles. And Pradhan Mantri ji is gifted one by the Indian Oil chairman. And on the right, you can see previous president at a Swachhata Sarvekshan Abhiyan in Delhi. At that time, Paytm was running a very interesting scheme. He dropped a PET bottle and he got a 750 rupees off coupon on a flight booking. That was quite an amazing. And so, but that was a scheme run by Paytm at that time. He found it to be very attractive. And so, plastics is sattvic, littering is rajasic. You are mixing up everything, is tamasic, good, bad, ugly. Climate change is not a new word. It was stated in the Shloka 3.14 in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Shri Krishna says, Anada bhavati bhutani. We all human beings need food. Parjanyad anna sambhava. From where that food grains will come, it will come from rain. Yagada bhavati parjanyo. From the rain, how the rain happen. We know water evaporates and comes, but there is a lot of karma, human karma behind that, the yagya. Yagya, if you are doing good for people, good for others, that's yagya. And so putting up a manufacturing unit for serving the needs of the people instead of the greed, I think that is a yagya. And so a lot of social, you have ESG nowadays. That S is for that karma, the yagya. And so thank you very much. I hope this presentation helped reduce misinformation, and let's recycle much more. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Miranda.
Well, I don't have a presentation, but I can tell you what we do and why we do what we do. I think very well covered by all three panelists. If you look at, if you were to rank India amongst all the countries across the world and say who did the most recycling, and I don't know if you know this, India would be ranked one of the higher countries. It would be one of the top countries which has a lot of recycling. And now it's also a country where you see a lot of plastics on the streets of India. It's just a dichotomy. You hear from us that India recycles so well. You hear that 95% of PET is recycled, but at the same time you see a lot of plastic lying on the streets. Now this is a very difficult situation because if you look a little deeper, you will see that the type of plastic that is lying on the streets is very different from all the plastics we consume at home. Yeah, the type of plastic you see on the streets of India is very similar to this, which is all flexible plastic. Your chips packet, chocolate wrappers, your carry bags, biscuit wrapper, noodle packet, these are the kind of plastic which lie on the streets of India. Now, you don't see a plastic bottle or a PET bottle or a shampoo bottle for that matter. You don't even see the oil cans, which you refill your bikes or cars, oil, that, or even your oils in the house. None of that plastic which has a shape, you see a lot on the streets of India. Even if you do, go back after 4 hours, it would be gone. That's because there are warriors in India who take up that waste and then make money from it. These are waste pickers, whom we owe all our sustainability goals to. All that we do in India, because of whatever the sustainability goals we have achieved, is because of these waste pickers. These are the people who keep India sustainable today, right? Now, yes, it's amazing that they do it because they find value in it. They pick up PET bottles today. It goes to anywhere between 39 rupees to 48 rupees. Sometimes it goes to 32, and then that's the range of price they get per kg for selling that bottle. And if you take the shampoo bottles, they get somewhere around 30 to again 45 rupees, depending on the region, depending on the color, depending on the type of waste they have picked it and so on. But if they pick a chips packet or a chocolate wrapper, they don't make any money. We pick chips packet and chocolate wrapper, we lose 10 rupees per kg for every kg of chips packet that we collect. Now that's a value bias, which means if something is valuable, it gets picked up. Of course, the system that has been developed in the PET system, which all three panelists spoke about, it has built that value for PET. And it is, there is also value for HDPE bottle or PP. You guys are, masters of packaging. You understand this really well. But there's no value for MLP. Rather, there's a negative value. If we have to collect MLP and send it to any end point, which is either a cement kiln which uses it instead of coal, which is much better, because they at least capture the energy from plastic. Or even if you want to make tiles from that MLP, or you want to make bricks from MLP, you get 3 rupees or 4 rupees per kg maximum. That too if you're lucky. Sometimes you end up spending money to get it to the end point. Who can do this and how can we solve that? That is a question we asked. How can we solve the value bias that exists in the plastic system, and how do we solve that system? There are ways to address that in other ways too. There is EPR, which has worked to an extent. It is also struggling to work in an extent because of many reasons. And there are a lot of new materials you can produce from it. But again, at the same time, we continue to lose money whenever we collected MLP or multi-layer plastic or flexible plastics. Then we realized, if you look at waste as what a consumer consumes, if you collect waste from Hyderabad, and you looked at the waste that is collected from all of Hyderabad and compare it to waste that is collected in Bangalore, you can easily say which city consumes the most instant noodle. Right? I'm not telling which city, but you can say it. Yeah, very much, right? So you can actually say which city does it. Now you can even go and say which city is Maggie doing an amazing job in, or EP doing a better job in. Where is it? Which brand is playing better? You can also ask a question: is Korean noodles picking up in Hyderabad, or is Korean noodle picking up in Mumbai? Is it actually following Korean beauty? You can answer all of these consumer consumption behavior questions by looking at the waste. What we realize is if we were to convert waste into data, which is consumer consumption behavior data, then you can sell that data. And whatever the money you make from the data, you can actually use that to actually manage the MLP or the multi-layer plastic or the flexible plastics. So that's what we do. We actually collect waste from around 45,000 homes across India in 7 cities. We convert that waste into data. We sell that data to companies like Unilever, Coca-Cola, ITC, L'Oreal, anybody who wants to understand what is the consumer consumption behavior. The money we make from data, we actually use it to make sure that every kg of plastic is recycled the right way. And this involves a lot of technology. And this also involves a very good impact we create for that matter, because if you were to come to any warehouse of Bintix across 7 cities, you will see that not a single plastic wrapper is lying on the floor of the warehouse. Why? Because it's data. You don't want to miss that data piece. You don't want to miss a chips packet. So what it creates is it creates the same value to chips packet as much as a value that exists for a water bottle. So you remove the value bias. Now when you make money from data, which is a lot more than the money you can make from material in itself, you actually bring an impact amongst people who work in the waste system. They earn 3 times. There are workers in our warehouse who are earning 8 times more than what they earned 5 years ago. That kind of transformation, and they work with technology, that kind of transformation can only happen when you build value which is unimaginable in the waste system. Now, additionally, you also bring a change in consumer behavior. Whenever we collect waste from all the homes, 40,000 homes, we actually pay 4 rupees per kg for that waste. Now, it's their waste, their responsibility, I agree. But what it brings is, it's a mindset which consumers have, and it incentivizes for them to segregate the waste into dry, wet, and reject waste. If all of the world did it, 70% of the waste problems are solved today itself in the world. So segregation is key. So we actually incentivize consumers to segregate the waste by paying them. Once that behavioral change comes in, we collect the waste and make sure that every kg is recycled by uplifting the people who are waste pickers and the bottom of the pyramid who work with us, and making sure that every piece of plastic we collect goes to the right end point. So but again, this is the data plugs into the existing value chain of waste management without replacing anything. We continue to send the same plastic bottles, PET bottles to recycling to folks like Reliance or to Sri Chakra or anybody else around here. We continue to send HDPE bottles to Banyan Nation that Garima spoke about just now. And we continue to send paper to paper mills, which continue. So the waste management system continues, but at the same time, because we make more value from that waste, we actually make sure that all types of waste are managed instead of cherry picking the waste and making money only from certain types of waste. So that's what we do. I'm happy to take questions.
Sir, you talked about the noodles. What about the biryani? Any tips from that?
There is no doubt, but Hyderabad, it's the most biryani.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so you can so one thing which we studied a very simple thing. We studied the impact of single-use plastic ban. What did it do to the waste? So since we have collected waste from 2019 all the way till now, we could actually look at the data that has come into our system, and then what did it do? We knew that 13% of the total plastic we were collecting at that time was all from Amazon, Flipkart, the carry bags from supermarkets and so on. That's the type of waste we used to collect. And that went from 13% to almost 5 to 6% in 2015. That is 2025. That is the impact of single-use plastic ban. Now, on the other hand, the total amount of MLP, which is the non-recyclable waste, 13% was part of that, has gone up. It has gone from 23% now today to 34% of the total dry waste. Now, if you go look back, of course, a policy had an impact and it removed a lot of formal players from adding it into it. But at the same time, a lot of formal players who package the products in MLPs has gone up as well. So essentially, as a country, we've not done well. We've actually added 9% more of plastic which cannot be handled through recycling. Now, those are the things which we can learn when we look at plastic in a little bit deeper. And we can, those are important ones. So apart from the biryani and the noodle examples, these are other good examples which you can learn. Yeah.
Waste to data. That's the new oil. We do not have much time for questions. Any question from the audience? Very much. That's a big story by itself. Any questions? Why cannot we shut down cigarette? It's as simple as that. One last comment in 1 minute.
Thank you. In fact, I would like to speak about the investment. See, the regulatory mechanism is very ripe. Industry is doing its work. I think what is required is the risk capital. Because the categories which are very tough to handle, non-recyclable ones are tough to recyclable, somebody has to burn the money literally in the beginning. Who does that? Now today, as part of fundraising team of Alliance, when I go to companies, they all work in the framework of what's in it for me. How am I going to fulfill my sustainability goals or EPR mandatory requirements and all that? If we go to banks, they look for profitability, which is so tough to achieve in these kind of solutions. So somebody has to literally burn the money in the beginning. Now the success story which has happened in case of PET, a lot of work was already happening, and today we can, we take pride in the fact that yes, India is the recycling capital, 90% plus rates. But then what is the real problem is we have to replicate the same success story in case of flexible plastic. Now industry has to come forward to really support solutions, to even divert its CSR money to waste, not only look at broad areas, Schedule 7, poverty reduction and all, because waste is supporting employment. Waste is giving livelihood to so many people, and many of these waste workers are women who live in extremely who will put their hand literally into waste to draw value out of it. So it meets a lot of SDG requirements. So government is doing its own job. But then I think industry also has huge responsibility that they start looking at waste as a category where they have to support or maybe even divert their CSR money. So I think amidst every circularity debate we can have, money is the core. Unless until we have players who can take that bet, we will have tough to solve challenges. So this is what Alliance is trying to do in region, where we are raising money from industry. We are talking to DFIs like World Banks, IFC, where they start looking waste as a category. Look at where climate financing has reached. It has not happened in 1, 2, 3 years. It has taken decades to reach, and look at the kind of way climate financing has evolved. This is exactly the kind of story we want to write in case of plastic waste as well, which is like In case of packaging, 40-50% of packaging is coming from plastics, and it has its own benefit. Every speaker has spoken about it. Whether we call it sustainable packaging, where we compare from LCA perspective, plastic has its benefit. And somebody said that why can't it be banned? And I think I like the answer that Dr. Joshi gave, that, you know, it's very easy to say put bans in place, but actually very difficult to implement it on ground. So I think more and more players have to think. We need visionary leaders who think 10 years, 15 years, 20 years beyond. And then let us all pool our resources together and work towards it. Thank you so much. Absolutely, and I think India is a country of... Well, see, some tough to handle categories like single use. Absolutely. See, some categories need to be phased out. We have to accept that. But then even within flexible, the broad gamut of category we are speaking about, even within that, much of it is recyclable. See, something which is no solution. Government will put its own mechanism to phase it out, no doubt about it. But then we have to understand much of the flexible waste is recyclable. So I think we are running short of time. So
I'll add to what his queries and his observation, that he has observed that nearly 11 to 12% non-recyclable packaging is getting littered. And he was also asking why not...
It's gone to 32%.
Yeah, why not take some strict action? Answers for both. In very shortest way I would like to give is, this change, if he wants to reduce this, it requires change of structure to monomaterials, and that has a cost. So if you look at the word sustainability, which is very common used, what is it? It is a combination of... Actually, it is sustain plus ability, but people look at it, sasta plus inability. So that is one way of looking at it, but we need to change the system, the ecosystem of producers, importers, brand owners, manufacturers, whatever we call it, that term. We have to change it to sasta plus enability, sasta enability. We have to change the sasta plus inability to sasta plus enability. That will come through volume, scale, backward integration. I think the collection system has to be reformed. In fact, I can add much more, but I think because of paucity of time, I'll just
one line.
sum it up.
Now, what happens if you don't invest into plastic? I just want to continue what Garima was saying, just one level ahead. The amount of plastic that we can't handle will keep going up. And at some point, like the gentleman said, government will be forced to ban the whole thing, and all the money you can save will all be gone. I don't think we want to be there. I think we want to be using plastic responsibly so that we can benefit from it, but at the same time, don't create a problem enough that you lose the whole benefit you have reaped. Which is why I think it's very important for every manufacturer, every brand, to invest back into collection of plastic, not through EPR, through other means as well, through Alliance to End Plastic, and to make sure that that money flows into the system. It's very, very important. Otherwise, on a long term, you will definitely lose, because it will only keep going higher, and at some point it just breaks. That's it.
Just to finish, because that gentleman's answer I could not complete. See, there is a very popular term in Japanese, those who learn quality, PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle. Indian government made a EPR notification, the whole world applauded it. It implemented it, everyone has to put up on the portal, and there was full traceability. And things have now not worked the way it was targeted. So today, I think now Dr. Samir is aware there is a check activity happening where we have gone wrong, how to improve. So there will be action again, Plan, Do, Check, Act. I think, sir, I'll just give you a hint. I think that's happening.
Learn, unlearn, relearn. Last line, plastics do not litter, people do. Over to sir.
Thank you, Dr. Samir. I would not have asked for more. I think the audience got excellent insights from the learned gentleman and the lady. End of the day, I always believe that the discipline has to start at home. We talk so much in every home or by ourselves. how responsibly we litter waste. I think everything starts from there. There might be a number of EPRs, there might be a number of legislations, legalities, and penalties. If a citizen has not made up his mind, yes, I will do it, I think this will never change. But let's hope for that change to happen soon. But in the meanwhile, kudos to the champions of the recycling, circularity, especially Bharat Bhai, the way the Reliance is, I think I shared a few videos on LinkedIn several times on how Reliance is leading in the front towards the total circularity. And Samir has been a champion for circularity for a long time. Garima, name itself, Alliance to End Plastic Waste, not plastic. So Roshan, a long time, Dr. Roshan Miranda, I met him, a good friend. I think he is championing a cause. Like any other entrepreneur, if he wanted to choose something else, he would have been somewhere. But he is passionately doing what he is doing, and he has achieved a lot in his journey. Kudos to him. Thanks to all four of you for your valuable time and great insights. We keep meeting, we keep interacting, we shall stay in touch. Thank you very much.